here's what I'm going to do for the world. If you've been watching me for a while, if you've read my past books, you know that I always talk about systems being better than goals. And you know that I like to reframe things. So I'm going to show you the first draft of my 4-page PowerPoint presentation. The title of, I think you can see it there, I'll read it. The Racism Mindset and the Success Mindset, Choose One. Now, I could just go home after the title page because that's the whole story. They're incompatible. They're incompatible. The racism mindset, or the entire topic, has lots of good historical things we should all know. So in terms of information, it's pretty good. I like the information. But if you make it your focus and you build your systems around looking backwards, you're doing everything that's the opposite of what successful people do. And I'll detail that on this page. So on one column, I showed you an earlier version of this. I'm just refining it because I think it's important. So on one column, you've got the things that racism cares about. Equity, well, I'll just read it to you. Equity, focusing on the past, injustices. Systemic racism, reparations, dividing people by race. That's the racism mindset, does that. Turning things into oppressor and victim model. Resentment of current people for not doing enough, as well as the long dead. And then the racism mindset is basically could be summarized as I can't because. I can't succeed because racism. I can't get this job because racism. So it's a can't because philosophy. Now the success mindset has a direct, or pretty direct, some of it is a little indirect, but correlation, where what you would do for success would be, instead of focusing on equity, you would say, how about winning? How about winning? Have you ever heard anybody in the success industry, like somebody who really knows about how to do success, have you ever said, if you work hard, you could be average? You know, if you put your muscles into it, and your brains, and you work hard, you could be as good as other people. That's ridiculous. Any success mentor would tell you, why aren't you trying to win? If everybody tries to win, and we're playing by fair rules, and we're not breaking any laws, the whole society is better. Just everybody try to win. That works. How about focusing on the past versus focusing on the future? If you want to be successful, you have to focus on the future. It's not optional. Nobody ever got successful just thinking about the past. Or how about systemic racism? It's a real thing. You can't forget about it, can't ignore it. But if you have a success mindset, you're not thinking about what's stopping you. You're thinking optimistically, nothing can stop me. Oh, your problem is systemic racism? No problem, that won't stop me. Oh, your problem is that you're short. Let's say you're a man and you're short. No problem, I'll work with that, I'll make that work. Your problem is that you're less healthy, or maybe you're disabled. No problem, I'll make that work. Right? Yeah, I can make that work. So the success mindset is all about the problems won't stop you. The racism mindset is all about the racism did stop you. It did, and it's going to keep stopping you. So that's what your brain should focus on. The cleanest one is reparations. Reparations is you owe me something, whereas the success mindset is what can you do for other people, and also reciprocity. If you hear Jeff Bezos talk about Amazon, right, what made Amazon work? He says an obsessive focus on the customer. Did that work out for Amazon? Yeah. I use Amazon specifically because I can feel their obsessive focus on the customer. You can feel it. It's like an actual feeling, right? Everything from the one-click shopping to how easy it is to, reorder things. It is insanely customer focused, and that's Jeff Bezos. That's all Jeff Bezos. He is forcing them to be customer focused, and probably there's a big problem when they're not, my guess. You probably get fired if you lose that focus for a minute. Now, that's a winner's attitude. But looking at things as, as reparations you owe me is a short-term strategy at best. The racism mindset, divides people by race, but if you're in a success mindset, you're playing the odds. Why would you limit yourself to part of the public by thinking that some people are against you, stay away from these people, whatever? Network is you try to meet as many people as you can from wherever. Might come in handy. Of course, the racism mindset is about resentment. And how does that work if you're trying to find a mentor? Imagine you're a young black person, you're trying to make it in the world, you're in a big company, and you'd like to find a mentor, because everybody would. Like, it's good to have a mentor. But most of them are white. What do? If you have resentment toward white people for racism, it's going to be harder to get a mentor, because I think that resentment is going to come through pretty quickly. Like, people are going to notice. You can't really hide it. It would come out in your language and the things you focus on, etc. And then the can't because turns into the can-do mindset with success. So that's the list. I think you should be at the very least, you should agree that the lists don't line up. Would you agree? Would you agree that the racism mindset, the way it's being used in America, is opposite of the success mindset? That's the thing that bugs me the most. And part of what is misunderstood about me is that I'm coming from everything from a success filter, not a race filter. But if you come from that filter, it can be really jarring. It can be jarring to somebody who's in the other filter. It's very jarring, as we learned. But I should also say that you don't want to ignore history. You want to teach the history, of course, but don't focus on it. You should focus on strategies for the future. It's just a focus question. Don't forget it. And then here's the kill shot. All right, I'll read these, but you can see it's just 3 points. The kill shot is the persuasive dagger that I'm going to put into some people reading this. Here's the dagger. A child who learns the tools and strategies of success will do better in life than one who is taught to see life as a race struggle. How does that feel? How does that feel? Yeah, you're killing your kids by teaching them the wrong frame. You're just ruining their lives. And you know it. You can't argue with it, because nobody's going to argue that ignoring the tools and strategies of success to focus on race struggle is a good strategy. Literally no one would believe that. And yet we're doing it. So that's the dagger. Then here's some explanation. Point 2, the media, race grifters, well-meaning teachers, see, I'm not insulting teachers, but well-meaning teachers and professional activists are poisoning race relations and destroying the future of black American kids by teaching them a losing mindset. Do you think the Asian American kids are learning to focus on race? Or are they learning to focus on building a talent stack, which is central to success? Maybe they're focused on staying in a jail and not doing drugs, which are essential to success. Right? Now, we got to stop pretending that every culture is being raised with useful mentoring messages. It's just not happening. Some of the cultures are getting useful mentoring, success-related messages, and the black culture is being poisoned into thinking there's a reason that's going to hold them back and nothing's going to change it. That's what they're taught. And I would imagine that the progressive white part of the population is taught the same thing. So they would be on board with that. But it doesn't matter as much that progressive whites buy into that frame, because it's not them. It's not them. They're probably going about their own lives however they want. But I'm watching something that looks like a black Holocaust with, obviously that's hyperbole. I'm looking at something that's a disaster for black Americans. And I don't think they're doing it to themselves. I believe that white America is allowing the situation that is the current situation. To me, it looks like the media assigns people's opinions, and the media is still controlled by white people. So if we have these opinions, it's because somebody told the left and the right what to think, largely, and then they adopted those opinions. And those opinions are not coming mostly from black people, right? It wasn't black people who canceled me. I had 0 cancellations from anybody black. 0. It was all white people. So I don't see the blame being squarely on anybody in black America. I see the teachers' unions being evil, and they're a mixture of everything. I see white Americans creating this situation that's not good for anybody. And I think the only people who can save themselves are black Americans. Because if black Americans rely on white people to help them with their reparations, they're going to get the Gavin Newsom treatment. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'd love to help you. How about you do a committee and come back with your recommendations on reparations? Huh? And then I'm helping. Look at me being supportive. Good going there. I'm so supportive. No. Only black America can help black America. And if you think that I'm talking about like white tricks for success, no. It's what all black successful people do. It's all what white successful people do. It's all the same. Look to the future, be optimistic, use some gratitude, have reciprocity, just basic stuff. Stay in a jail, build a talent stack, have systems over goals. There's like 12 things you have to learn, and it would take you 20 minutes to learn all 12 of them. Right? It would take you 20 minutes to learn all of the techniques of success. 20 minutes. And then you're good to go. There will still be lots of racism, but you'll cut through it like hot poker through butter. And then my final statement here to close down is the reason no one told you this before is because there is a high social penalty for doing so. There is a high social penalty for being honest on this topic. I don't know if you know anybody who had that issue. Now, my problem was not the honesty, it was the hyperbole. The honesty part everybody was okay with. But I did cause a little trouble, more than I thought, by a little extra hyperbole. But as you know, the people who have watched me use this pattern before, they know that I was causing trouble to draw fire. I didn't think I'd draw that much. It was a calculated risk. I knew there was a risk. So that's why I'm not complaining. The reason I'm not complaining is because I intentionally did something with a high risk that had, in my opinion, a potential high reward for the country, not for me. And maybe it didn't work out. So far, I'm pretty happy with how things are turning out. So we don't know. We don't know. All newspapers ended up not being able to run it because my syndication company and then my book publisher canceled me. So that cancels distribution. So newspapers couldn't carry it even if they wanted to. Yeah. So this is the message that I plan to die on this hill. And I'm going to die on the hill that all the ESG, CRT, DEI are crushing the chances for black American success. And because they are such an important part of my country, that's bad for me, right? It's bad for me when black Americans don't do well. That's bad for me. And that's why I've put so much attention in trying to fix that specific situation. But maybe the CIA took me out for political reasons. Maybe the Democrats took me out for political reasons. The only thing I know is that the conservative part of the country understands this message completely. True or false? Most of you lean right if you're watching this, even though I don't. Yeah, every one of you is agreeing. Every one of you is agreeing. Look at the comments. Absolutely zero pushback. I got canceled for this. It's the way I did it, so it's my own damn fault. But look at the bigger picture. Was canceling me good for black America? Well, let me ask you this question. Was canceling me good or bad for black America? because this is what I'm bringing. Right? This is what I'm bringing. This is my offer. It's free, right? And by the way, you don't need to buy any of my books. Like I have a book that I think is good. You can't buy it at the moment because it's canceled. But if you could buy it, it would just be one of the things you could do. I'm proposing that the tools of success are so widely available, you could just Google it. You could pick up a different book. You could ask somebody who's successful. I don't care where you get it. That's the unimportant part. Yeah. So that's why I'm interested in working on homeschooling, because I think you could make a difference in the curriculum by just introducing a module about personal success. And a module about personal success, if you could do it well, I think would guarantee that homeschoolers outperformed everybody else. They probably already do, but it would just make it clean. And I would make a following bet, that if you gave me a group of randomized black Americans, or even poor, let's say low income, so they're randomized except they're all low income, and you compare that to a randomized group of white kids, and you say, Scott, you're going to work with a randomized group of black kids. You're going to teach them the tools of success that work for everybody. And then the white kids will just be the control group. They're just taught a regular education. Come back in 20 years, who's making more money? I guarantee it's my group. I guarantee it. You should place a very large bet on that if the group that has the tools of success does well.